Diamond Girls! I just turned 29 on February 10th and I wanted to talk about 29 crucial life lessons I have learned in 29 years. So first, you become the product of your environment, but you are not your external circumstances. Your environment shapes you unconsciously, but you can shape yourself consciously to become whoever you want to be. Let's say you have a parent who drinks a lot and lashes out when they are angry or when they are mad or they get really defensive. You unconsciously are going to start to take in those emotions and start replicating those actions. So now when you get upset or something happens to you that you don't like, your immediate response is also to lash out and get defensive and get aggressive because that's what your environment was growing up. That is what you were taught. But you can shape your behavior and choose not to use those responses or actions when something upsets you. You have to be aware that this is an issue that you have and you have to make the conscious decision to change so that way when those difficult situations arise, you are able to self-regulate yourself and choose to react in better ways. It's all about consciousness. And after you form these better habits, it becomes a new normal. Next is, I am not an emotional babysitter. Someone upset in my life will not dictate how I live mine. If you are an empath or you're highly sensitive, it's very easy to allow other people's emotions to rub off on you. If there is someone who is angry in your life or they're going through a hard time or they're calling on you for help all the time, you start to absorb their feelings and you start to take on their issues as if they're your own. And then now all of a sudden you are angry or you're sad or you're happy or you're anxious all because this person is. And by doing this, by taking on someone else's emotional well-being at the expense of your own, you start to become overwhelmed. So it's important to set up boundaries, and that can look like not spending hours on the phone, listening to their problems, saying no when people ask you to hang out when you need a mental health day, turning your phone on D&D, that way you are not readily available all the time, whatever those boundaries are. So that way you are able to detach yourself from this other person's emotions and now prioritize your own. Next is, I can be humble and calm and still not tolerate disrespect and set boundaries. I've noticed in the Black community, we have a different way of dealing with situations where someone has disrespected us. We get very defensive, we get very aggressive very quickly because we're passionate. We like to say things like, when there's like a situation where we don't like the way someone responded, we'll say things like, oh yeah, shoot, that could never be me, or oh girl, you better than me, I would have fought her or cursed her out, or something around those lines to show that you would get out of character in order to show this other person, hey, don't mess with me, don't disrespect me. But being calm, kind, and humble doesn't make you weak or a doormat. You can still set boundaries, not tolerate disrespect, and get your point across without having to get out of anger, get out of character, or raise your voice, or get up all in someone's face. I am not going to stoop down to someone else's level and get out of character and change my feminine energy for someone who doesn't deserve it because that's what they want. They want to get a rise out of you. They want to get you out of character so that way they can sit back, laugh, and go and tell anyone who is willing to listen and say, ha, she is so rude, she is so disrespectful and aggressive and ungrateful. Do not give them the satisfaction by lowering yourself to them. Next is, give people the benefit of the doubt, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve it. A lot of times when I heard give people the benefit of the doubt, I would get so upset because it's like, no, they should have known better. They did it on purpose. They really did mean to hurt me. They knew better. But then what ended up working for me was I should give people the benefit of the doubt, not because they deserve it, but because I deserve it. I don't deserve to be thinking that I am being lied to. I don't deserve to think that this person doesn't like me. I don't deserve to have all of these negative thoughts. What if instead of assuming that this person intentionally hurt me, what if I assumed I was loved, respected, and cared for instead? Next is, there is power in not knowing. Not knowing where your path leads to, not knowing if your relationship or career will fail or succeed, not knowing what others think about you. If they didn't say it, don't assume it. Look at the pattern of your life. Do you see how everything has worked out the way it should be? It might not have been exactly how you planned it out, but it worked out the way it should be. That's life. You do not know where your path is going to lead to. So don't feel this need to try to control your life or try to plan your life out safely. Stop trying to create a life that you think you want or trying to force things like a relationship or a career. Instead, begin a life that you are truly meant for. That is where you find inner peace. Next is, master your emotions. A calm mind can handle any situation. When you are triggered, when you react on your emotions, when people are able to pull you out of your feminine energy, you have now given them power. So when you feel attacked, powerless, overwhelmed, anxious, betrayed, or gaslit, instead of lashing out, getting aggressive, shutting down, or getting defensive, instead remove yourself from the situation, name your feelings that you are having in your body, and use grounding techniques. You can journal, you can write down your feelings, or talk to another friend, but never give this other person the satisfaction of seeing you react on your emotions. Next is, you cannot be understood by as someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. If someone is constantly disagreeing with you, constantly wants to argue with you about how your opinions and views are wrong, or always has something to say about how you live your life, the issue they have isn't about what you are saying or doing. They just have an issue with you. They have a negative bias towards you. So anything you do, anything you say, they will be committed to misunderstanding you, because anything you do or say is automatically going to be wrong in their eyes. So there is no point in trying to get this person to understand you. Next is, none of us are easy to deal with. We are all dealing with something in our lives. We all have insecurities. We all have something we need to improve on. So when you meet someone who is willing to be with you, go through the trials with you, and help you get to where you want to be, hold on to them. Don't let your ego or pride get in the way. Next is, the real test is being kind to unkind people. There are people out here who are at war with themselves. They don't like themselves or where they ended up in life. So now they are projecting toxic negative energy onto you because they are unwilling to look at their own faults. So instead of giving them the same energy and picking out their flaws and issues, show them kindness. Because when you try to find fault in other people's actions, you are denying yourself compassion. You deny yourself peace by getting defensive with them. You deny yourself the ability to sit in your feminine energy and show sympathy for others' misfortunes in life. Next is, being introverted is okay. We live in an extroverted world where if you are loud, outgoing, talkative, then you are able to make friends more easily. You get more promotions at work, and you are able to be the center of attention. So when you are the shy, introverted, quiet kid, it is very easy to feel lost, misunderstood, or that something is inherently wrong with you because you're different. But being introverted is okay. We are very intuitive. We are able to have meaningful conversations that aren't just small talk, and we feel comfortable and at ease in our own company, which is way better than someone who likes to be around other people all the time because they don't like being with themselves. So in my opinion, being introverted is pretty cool. Cleaning is self-love. Almost nobody likes cleaning. It can take a long time, it's boring, nobody likes it. Especially when you grew up in a household where cleaning was used as a punishment. So when you get into those negative thoughts surrounding cleaning your home, tell yourself, cleaning my environment isn't negative, but it's a step towards positive well-being. When you are finished cleaning, don't you just feel like at ease and at peace, and it's like you feel clean yourself? A clean home will impact your mental well-being. So reframe your mindset to see cleaning as self-care and self-love instead of a punishment. Next is, nobody knows what they are doing in life. Absolutely nobody knows what they are doing in life. The best doctors won't even know what physical illness you have. The best psychologists won't know what mental health issues you have. The best builders still make mistakes. So when you have imposter syndrome, it can often feel like you don't really know what you are doing. You're kind of just walking through life, just doing the best you can, and you fear that someone is going to find out that you don't really know what you're doing. But listen, nobody knows what they are doing in life. The people you see doing so well in life and are so sure of themselves, oh baby, that's just confidence. Next is exercise. Exercise is not always about losing weight or being able to fit into your high school prom dress or having six-pack abs. Exercise is self-love. Exercise is the key to longevity. For every hour you exercise, you will live 3 hours longer. My husband and I travel a lot we do a lot of walking, biking, kayaking, and all these physical activities. So when we do these activities, because I work out, I am able to keep up without getting tired. It just makes me feel so strong and just empowered. It's not about looking good in a bathing suit, which, you know, that's nice, but it's about being able to live my life to the absolute fullest with no problems of getting out of breath. Next is, it's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, not because you're incapable. When you are faced with a difficult situation that is not familiar to you, it can be very uncomfortable because it feels unsafe. This is not normal to you, and it's just the fear of the unknown, which can cause a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and distress around things that are just unpredictable and that you cannot control. And you know, these feelings are, you know, completely normal to human survival, the fight, flight, or freeze response to threats or unfamiliar territories. But just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean you are incapable. The two do not coexist. Success lies in being uncomfortable. Success lies in diving into situations that are not familiar to you, so that way you are able to grow and flourish into a better person. Next is, spend time in nature. There is a spirit inside of you, and that spirit connects with nature. And when you want to connect with your spirit, you also must quiet the mind. And in order to quiet the mind, you have to connect with Mother Earth. This is why when we walk barefooted in grass, it feels really good, or when you walk near an ocean, you kind of just feel at peace. Nature is here to connect with your inner soul. Nature is here to energize you. Next is, by finding faults in other people's actions, you deny your self-compassion. We all try to find faults in other people's actions. We all try to point the finger at someone else instead of looking at ourselves. And a big reason for this is to protect our ego. The ego does not like to bring attention to itself. But when we try to find fault in others, we deny deny ourselves compassion. We deny ourselves the ability to understand and connect with other people on a deeper level. If there is someone in your life who you judge, talk bad about, gossip, or even think negatively about, you are looking through a fuzzy lens. You don't know what that person is going through to make them lash out. You don't know if there is some underlying unresolved trauma, or if they are just having a difficult time in life. They might just be at war with themselves. But also, being compassionate doesn't mean being a doormat, or allowing disrespect, or accepting less than what you deserve. You can have compassion and still set boundaries for yourself, because this is what it means to have compassion for yourself. So instead of looking for faults in others, allow yourself to be compassionate and understanding of other people's struggles. Allow yourself to think from their shoes and put yourself in their shoes so you can get a better understanding of who they are and why they act the way they do. I don't think people are just jerks for no reason. There is always some deeper issue going on. So replace anger, resentment, frustration, contempt, and hate with compassion. Next is count your blessings. It's very easy to go through life wishing for more blessings, more money, better cars, a house, no debt, a better wardrobe. But when you do this, when you ask God or the universe for more and more blessings, you forget to look at the blessings you already have been given. And a lot of times when we are given blessings, we are happy about it for just a few days, maybe even a month or a year, but then we forget about it. We want more and more and more in order to finally be happy and fulfilled. But when is it going to be enough? When are you going to find happiness within yourself regardless of the things that you have? So count every blessing that you already have instead of trying to count all the blessings that you don't have. Next is let go of control. The more we know about the world, the safer we feel. But the less we know, the more uncomfortable and unsafe we feel. Nobody likes feeling unsafe. So the first step to let go of control is to accept the things we can't control. God protects what he provides. If God or the universe sends you a blessing, whether that be in a relationship, your career, or whatever that you have, and you fear that you will somehow lose it, or something bad will happen, or that you'll never achieve something, or that you won't be able to maintain something that you've already achieved, the universe provided it. God provided it. If he didn't want you to have it, you wouldn't have it at this very moment. And if at one point you don't have it anymore, that's just God or the universe saying it was not meant to follow you on your path. Next is there are going to be people in your life who find fulfillment in watching your downfall. There are going to be people in your life who are just melting away from envy. When they see you on your A game, when they see you living your best life, when they see you achieving and producing, that sends a chill down their spine, because you are a representation of what they feel that they are unable to achieve. So instead of them seeing you as inspiration, they see you as a threat to their very existence. They see you as a threat to them being successful. So they will do anything in their power to sabotage. When you fail, they find fulfillment in that, because now they no longer feel inadequate about their own lives. They want you to be on the same level as them, so that way they don't feel alone. And these people will show up in your family, your friend groups, your coworkers. So be very careful about who you share information with. Be careful with who you allow to be around your energy. And most importantly, show compassion, because they are just at war with themselves. Next is by holding on to past trauma, we deny ourselves healing. Now this is for those who hold on to past trauma or resentment and are unwilling to take the step towards healing, or they deny that they even need to heal in the first place. And a big reason why you hold on to this trauma might be because in order to heal, you must go back and address what caused it. And a lot of people just want to block out these experiences. Or by moving past the trauma, it means, oh, I'm just letting this person who caused it off the hook. No, I'm going to let the world know that you hurt me until they apologize. Or it could be, I have to learn more about myself and address my issues. No, I'd rather just stay in my victimhood. But when you do this, you deny yourself healing. You deny yourself the ability to know yourself as a healed person. Again, it's unfamiliar territory. So the first thing you do is ask yourself, why am I afraid to let this go? Why am I refusing to heal? Why am I unable to forgive this person? Quick question. If a snake bites you, are you going to allow the venom to run through your veins until you eventually succumb to your injuries because, it's not your fault that your snake bit you in the first place? Or are you going to suck that venom out in order to truly heal and survive? It's up to you. Next is by seeking attention and validation, we deny ourselves completeness. In this day and age of social media, all these trends that are going on, people often measure their worth on how many likes and comments they get on TikTok or Instagram. People do crazy things in order to be in the spotlight. People only dress up to get attention and compliments from others. And if they don't get the attention and recognition they want, they immediately look internally and think, oh, there must be something wrong with me because this other person is doing the same thing I'm doing, and look at them, they are thriving, they're doing so well, so I must be the problem. The problem is not you. The problem is the problem. It's hard because it's hard. You are not the reason this situation is difficult. The situation itself is difficult. Once you solve this problem, everything is good. It will pass by. But you you're still here, free and complete, regardless of what is happening or not happening outside of you. Next is be happy for no reason. If you are happy for a reason, that is a dangerous place to be in because that reason can easily be taken away from you. Next is take nothing personal. What other people do and say about you is a projection of their own reality. For example, one of your family members, like your mom, sister, dad, someone has a certain perception of one of your family members. Someone has a certain opinion about them. They can think about how great of a person they are, how successful they are, whatever. But you can't stand them. You don't think they're a great person. You don't think that they're that successful. So who is right? Whose perspective is the correct one? Nobody's. Because both people are speaking from their own reality. People speak from their own experiences. So just because someone doesn't like you doesn't make you unlikable. Just because someone thinks you can do better in your life doesn't mean you're not successful. They might just have higher expectations for themselves, so they project it to you because that is their reality and they believe everyone should mold into that reality. How you treat others is a reflection of you. How others treat you is a reflection on them. So don't think their reflection is yours. Next is overthinking is just a fancy term for worrying, and worrying is just a waste of time. Let's say you and some other person are at the library, one other person, and you are at this library, reading a book, but you're stressed out about this exam that you have, or you're stressed out because you and your boyfriend just got into an argument, or you and your parents just got into an argument. In your mind is just somewhere else. And this other person, they're at the same location as you, and they're reading their book, and they're fine. They're not thinking about anything else but the book that they're reading. But you're both in the same place. You're both physically in the library, but one of you is somewhere else. This is why being in the present moment is so important. Next is the healthiest thing may seem underwhelming if your soul has only known loudness and chaos. You hear about so many women who get into relationships and after the honeymoon phase is over, maybe 2 months, a year of them being in that relationship, they get bored. Why? Because typically in a lot of relationships, when the honeymoon phase is over, things start to become toxic. A lot more arguments, fighting, and miscommunication. But when you meet a really good guy who knows how to communicate, who knows how to be emotionally available, who knows how to fight in a healthy way, this can be seen as boring to women, who are just used to chaotic relationships. And this doesn't only apply to romantic relationships either. It can apply to friendships when you are so used to having friends who stab you in the back, or having a career where things start to get boring at your job. It could just be because you are just so used to getting overworked at the places you've worked at. So boring isn't bad. Sometimes it could be the healthiest thing for you. Next is travel. Travel, travel, travel. Me and my husband travel all the time, whether it just be, just a quick stay over or international trips. But traveling is so important. Get out of your home state. Go experience culture. Go try new foods. Go experience the world and get off social media. Next is make home cooked meals. The food you eat is going to impact your overall mental health and energy. Everything in this universe is made up with energy, including food. Super over processed foods can carry low vibrational energy. Also, how your food is made, how it is grown, how it is prepared, all will affect the food's energy. So when you are constantly eating out, you don't know who is making your food. You don't know what kind of mood they are in. They could be rushing to make it and the chef might have just gotten broken up with his girlfriend, so he is sad and frustrated. And then all of this is going to affect your food and how it tastes. Versus, let's say when your mom makes your food, or even when you make your own food, it's more likely to be made with love, joy, and happiness. Then the food ends up tasting better. You start to feel more in touch with your body, you know what ingredients are going into the food, and you can just get more creative. So with this in mind, start cooking more home cooked meals and see how much better you feel and how much more money you have in your bank account. Next is you're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Next is don't be afraid of aging. Aging is a blessing that a lot of people unfortunately don't have the chance to get older. As you grow, you start to become more wiser. You start to learn how to love yourself more every single day. And you also stop putting up with as much mess from other people. So don't be afraid of getting older. Anyways, Diamond Girls, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I hope you all have a beautiful day that's filled with love.